But this week, we've got a special guest, my friend Shane, is a VP of Customer Success and Training here at Inside Real Estate. Shane, that's the title.
Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, and Shane, what we're actually going to do is we're going to talk about the new agent success plan that Shane and his team have designed to kind of help people who are totally new to kvCORE get moving. Am I explaining that thing right?
Yeah, and the cool thing about the success plan is it's not just a button by button training. It is literally what it says, a success plan. So it's a plan of actions that they'll take through a 4-week process or quicker if they decide to move faster, to get results right away and to start building the system right into their business.
So this is something you're going to want to get everybody who is on your team to go through. We do record these, just get some housekeeping out of the way. This will be recorded. It'll be posted to insiderealestate.com/webinars. And I'm going to hand Shane the screen. He's going to walk us through and show us where to find the success plan and kind of tour us around it. And then after that, we're going to dig in a little bit on the real estate lead generation funnel component and have a little fun with that. So let me hand this over to Shane right here. All right. Nice crowd today. Thank you everybody for being on while Shane gets that going.
Let's see here.
Looked good for a minute. Yep,
you got it. Okay, cool. All right, so first off, it's nice of you guys all to join us today to go over this plan. And second of all, I just want to kind of show you how do you get to the success plan. If you're new, you may get an intercom message that pops up the first time you log in. If you're not new, then you may have to click right up here where it says Agent Success Plan on the top of your dashboard. So when you click on that, it actually will log you right into the course as a single sign-on. And if you've already started, you can just resume the course. If not, you're going to start the course, okay? And basically, let me just close that one. I already have it open over here. And on the course, you're going to be able to start from the introduction. Now, the awesome piece about the success plan is we built it, like I'd mentioned, not just for teaching you buttons and kind of what each button does, but to really have success. So if you notice here, the first thing that we're going to do is give you an overview of how the course is laid out. So just to summarize that, it's basically 3 to maybe 7-minute videos about very specific tasks. And then you usually watch anywhere from 3 to 7 videos. And at the end of those videos, there's little micro, what we call homework, just like as if you're in school. And there's very laid out actions that you have to take. And at the end of each week, you should have a list of actions that you've accomplished. And by accomplishing those actions, you probably have some sort of result from them. So that's kind of the idea, is learn, take action, get a result. That's how we built out the entire course for each lesson. So once you get to the overview, it talks a little bit about what we call an agent excitement. So this, once again, isn't a training. This is just going to summarize some of the things that maybe you didn't have at previous brokers that now you will have at with your new broker that has kvCORE, or maybe your broker didn't have kvCORE and now it does. Just different ways that you can power your business with the kvCORE platform, a general overview. And then what we do is we set some goals. So we talk about, how do you want to build kvCORE into your business? What type of results do you expect? And then put a plan in place to actually execute those to make them happen. And then one of the other pieces that we do in the goals is we get what's called an accountability partner. Talk a little bit about holding yourself accountable with 1 or 2 people in the office there, making sure that you're executing on your homework assignments and your task of completing the success plan. We also now have a full handout, meaning that you can click here, get this awesome PDF that basically breaks down your intro, your week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, kind of, and what everything entails. And you can even see here we have a checklist of all the homework that you need to accomplish each week. Okay.
So Shane, so what I'm seeing here, whereas before we had some nice documentation, we have some nice quick start courses where it was very much about the actual functionality of kvCORE. In this case, you're actually, like you said, there's a plan here to follow for executing your business on top of kvCORE. That's the distinction.
Exactly. Yeah, so there's no way that if you just complete the success plan and obviously do the homework, right, that you will not have results. You will definitely have them, but you gotta, get
you'll know how to use kvCORE in the process.
Yeah, so instead of like teaching every button, we're teaching you the whys, and then the buttons come with it, because in order to get the task done, you gotta push the buttons.
Yeah.
All right, so that's kind of the intro section, right? So just kind of getting you up to speed on everything and getting your mind in the right position. And then week 1, what we do is we cover the basics, just kind of setting everything up, confirming your website, getting all the basics set up so you know what's going to happen automatically, because the cool thing about kvCORE is a lot of it's automated. And then also making sure we get your leads imported. Number one most important first step, get all your contacts in there. And then obviously the last part of that is getting them engaged. So after each week, what you'll notice here is you have a week 1 webinar registration. So what we do on this week 1 webinar is we kind of go over all your homework, see if you have any questions. We kind of maybe we'll pick a couple of people out of the crowd to talk through certain things, like, you know, when you send out your mass text or mass email to your upload, you know, what type of result did you get, right? And like ask a few people about their results, and then maybe guide them through some different processes that they could change to get a better result depending on what we're talking about. So each week we'll have a specific webinar call dedicated to that week overview.
Shane, can everybody show up to that weekly webinar as many times as they want, or can you only go the first time you start? Okay. All right,
yeah,
good.
so when you click here, so these are going to be go-to webinars, kind of like the webinar we're on right now. We have it limited to 100 currently per webinar series. We might up that. We're you know, still kind of working through that, but the idea is, you know, if we have more people, we're gonna open that up.
We need time zones. We need time zones on there, because, you know, us East Coast people.
So when you click on it, it does tell you. But I agree 100%. But yep, so we'll get through that and make sure they get the call scheduled. That is super important, guys. Make sure you do the call, because otherwise, you know, the week's cool and it gets you done with some certain tasks, but confirming everything, asking your questions, and getting clarity is really important. Once you've done that, the next thing you're gonna do is we're gonna prep you for week 2. So give you some very specific things to do before week 2. And then what we're gonna do is make sure you've done the homework. So if you'll see here, we have all the homework kind of laid out. When you click it, you know, you're confirming that you did it. And then right here will tell us that you've completed that. And then any resources that you need for the whole week, for any of the stuff that we covered up above will be right here. These are very specific support articles that dive in deeper, teaching you the line by line, button by button to push to execute anything that maybe we didn't dive into super deep. So that's what you'd leverage here under resources, any specific documents you may need. The next one is week 2. Empowering your business. So this one dives a little bit more into your personal dashboard, or sorry, your personal business. Teaches you how to work, you know, your business from the dashboard, how to make sure you have some really important automation set up, like your search alerts, seller reports, market reports, things like that. And then start diving into, you know, the lead engine overview, managing and promoting your listings, open house strategies, smart print campaign strategies, and even prospecting. You know, like a lot of people think that this is just a website CRM, and it is, but there's a lot more to it. Like you can do all the prospecting you'd love through the system. We have a new dialer we just launched, so it talks a lot about that in that course. And then once again, you schedule your week 2, and then you kind of complete the homework in the same process. So that's kind of how it's all laid out. So the last most important week is 3, which is going to be all about lead gen. So this talks about like building your sphere of influence. There are 10 by 10, talks about time versus money, talks about free ways and paid ways to make this system work for you automatically. And then the last one is just committing to the program. That's basically what you're going to learn and build into your business. I know, Ryan, we had briefly talked about the lead funnel. Did you have any other questions?
Yeah, so that's week 3, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, why don't you go ahead and finish, you know, just laying with the outline, and then I pulled this out because I thought it'd be a fun topic today to really drill down on, but maybe you can finish up this and we'll get to that.
Okay. And so
before you guys move on, just real quick, there have been some questions just about how do we sign up for just week 1, and it's all in the same place. So you sign up for the course in its entirety, and then you work through it, each segment within. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep. So you just would simply make sure you click here, and then that'll take you obviously not to here, but it'll take you to the actual main
initial
screen.
page.
Yeah. And then from there, so you'll notice here, there's no way you can resume this course, which is your success plan course. And once you're in here,
it's so awesome how it tracks everything. You can leave off and come back to where you left off.
Yeah, and the cool thing is it is progressive, so you actually can't get to the next video until you've completed the previous step. So you have to, it is an order, so you have to do step 1, 2, 3, and 4 to get to step 5. So keep that in mind. If you're trying to jump ahead to week 2, it's not going to let you. It's going to kick you right back to week 1 where you left off.
We're going to be like, so sorry. It's like, what is that, old Chutes and Ladders?
Yep.
And then also, everyone, I dropped the link to the doc into the chat for everyone. I'll drop it again in just a moment so you can follow along on the funnel component we're going to segue to.
Yep. So the other important part is the reason why we did it in a specific order is because certain things have to be done in an order. Like for example, like just learning how the website works for the consumer. We call it, the lead and consumer experience right here. You notice that's like the fourth one in the video. It's because if you start getting leads or people engaging, and a lot of our automation happens that the agent doesn't know about yet, right? This will kind of explain that to them. Why is that happening? Where does that come from? Type stuff. So, when that stuff starts happening, they're not all up in arms about it. They kind of know. So that's why there's a certain process to this whole learning portal that kind of ramps up their business to where the last part is you have a full game plan and all you have to do is just be consistent with it.
It's awesome. And I know there's been a couple of questions saying, hey, can we do it on our own timing or is there a deadline each week? So we have this set up as a self-paced webinar that you can jump into. Maybe you're at an open house, nobody showed up yet. You can jump in via your laptop, your tablet, even your mobile app. You can access it by clicking on the top, I think it's 3 bars or 4 bars on the upper left, and go to your main desktop site and access the learning portal there. So there's really a lot of ways you can access when you have a little downtime or you're kind of waiting for someone to show up for an appointment and they're on their way, but they're like, 45 minutes late. So you have the ability there.
Yep. Now, the only thing I would recommend is I like to be able to take like the homework items and actions like right away. So sometimes it is nice to be in front of the desktop, but just maybe knocking the video out while you're on the waiting for the client and then executing the homework when you get back is a great plan too. So
that's awesome. It's a good idea.
Yeah, it's just most important to do the homework. What I've noticed previously and the way that we trained before is just videos, right? So people watch the videos and then guess what? They didn't do anything. So the video was almost pointless. You know what I mean? So that's why if you notice each one has an actionable item. So one thing we're trying to change a lot. So I mean that does kind of sum up the learning portal. I mean, other than just completing the courses, the homework, and then scheduling your weekly calls, that is most important.
So we had a few other questions. Yes, this is in the learning portal, Lisa. Are there any limitations for Canadians? No, this should be the same content.
Only speak French.
Right. Yeah, but it should be pretty standard. This is a nice way to get yourself oriented to kvCORE. That's not just about features; it's about actual things to do to have success. And Shane, I think it's important to emphasize for people who are admins or team leaders or brokers that this is something you're going to want get your whole team going through so that everybody's on the same page and adopting, right?
Yeah, even if you've been on kvCORE for months, years, whatever, absolutely. Everybody should go through it because it'll get you refocused and make sure that you're leveraging all the important features that kvCORE has built into it.
Yeah, and it does kind of function as a coach in general, a business coach in general. You could go through this if I were a new agent, for example, and went through this. At the end of it, you should have leads and some activity going on, right?
Exactly. Yeah, there's no question if you did everything on this task list that you will have results.
Yeah.
And again, where are the printouts for the homework located? Could you just show that again?
Yeah, absolutely. So each course will have right here what's called the survey. So this will have these little things that you can just confirm that you did them. What you may be referring to, though, is under the introduction, which is the PDF. So the PDF, the handout here, so there's two actually. So one is the goals one, which I didn't show you, which is this is where you go in and you set your goals, how you're going to apply it to your business, and then daily, weekly, and monthly tasks that you can execute to get results. Right?
That's awesome.
Commitment to it. And then here's like your success buddy and when you're checking in with them. So you have this PDF for the goals, and then you have the handout PDF for each overview of each week and homework. So here's like what we covered, and here's your homework, right? Here's your prep. Here's what we're going to cover in week 2. Here's your homework.
That's awesome.
So Shane, good transition. Tom's asking if the course covers specific things like how to target specific niches, like people who are downsizing. And that I don't know if it's there yet, but that would fall under week 3, right? Driving new business.
Absolutely, and you can see here we do cover those. So that'll be underneath Facebook group posts, squeeze pages, landing page. That'd be the niche strategy. So that's where that would fall into place.
Cool, and we are now going to touch a little bit upon that. Just we knew the tour wouldn't kill a whole 45 minutes. So what you and I have done over the last day, you showed me the funnel you were working on, and we kind of got together and came up with this flow for building real estate lead generation funnels. And we can kind of make this interactive, right, Shane? Maybe we can kind of build this out a little more while we talk and let other people chime in and ask questions about the process here. So
Yeah, let me kind of shed some light on why I built this in the first place, because what I found was people would come to me and they'd be like, hey, you know, I want to do some lead generation, right? And I did some landing pages, I did some squeeze pages. I didn't get the results I was looking for. I didn't get any results at all. Have you heard that before, Ryan?
yes.
And what I found was, you know, when I really dove in deep with the person, asking them some very finite, you know, very specific questions, I don't want to say that they didn't think it out all the way, but they maybe didn't have a full plan in place to put the strategy in place, get the right audience in front of that strategy, and then have the right follow-up process to get the results they were looking for. So I just thought I would kind of put it out there in a way where it would kind of get them thinking in the right way. So it starts off talking a little bit about a specific target, like what are we trying to do with this, right? So I don't know if you want to kind of go from there. I know you're pretty up to speed on this stuff, but that's why it came into fruition, is because I just wanted a guided process so everyone thinks through every little step, because it's not just about the landing page or squeeze page. That's just one of these multiple steps that we have to take.
Yeah, so what we have here is the outline of a funnel, and this is something that you can repeat either multiple times or keep going through over and over, and that'll make sense as we get to the lower steps. So the first thing we have here is find a specific target audience. Think about maybe buyers who, and then of course with real estate this is almost infinite, but maybe they want to be in a specific school district, need a home close to the military base, need a low down payment mortgage. That would be the example. So in marketing terms, that's like identifying your customer avatar, so to speak. And
Yep.
Shane, I think you'd agree. It's surprising how many of us are in business without having asked this question: who do we really want to work with and serve, right?
Yeah, and specifically just target them versus like the general approach, right? Where it's just the masses.
Yeah. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm a buyer's agent." Well, what kind of buyers?
Yeah.
So once you've done that, before we get into setting up actual generating leads, you're going to want to make sure the follow-up is in place. And I make this mistake constantly. I've gotten better about it over the years, but I'll go make a landing page, run a Facebook ad, and get all excited about the idea, and then never create the follow-up sequence that is going to convert those leads over time, because the fortune's in the follow-up, right? So what kvCORE allows you to do is you can build in automation. So what I have in the bullets here, create an initial conversational autoresponder, email and text. That would be the first email that goes out, the first text, so hey, I saw you were looking for a house near XYZ base. When are you looking to move? That kind of thing. The other thing I recommend here, Shane, maybe you have a different thought on this, but I just put one, schedule out one weekly email or text for at least 3 months. Like, have that in place. That would be 12 weeks, and just have something that's going to automatically go out once a week in the Smart CRM.
Yeah,
I have a
I
question.
like, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, there's a question. It's a pretty good one. If I don't know what my target audience is, how do I make like a well-informed decision in choosing or creating one?
Well, we can, if you do have a dilemma, you could ask in the group and we could crowdsource that. There's lots of different ideas.
Well, it's a question from one of the people within the audience.
Yeah, so let me actually show you a good way to just kind of, like, if you just want to craft up an idea.
Yeah,
So
I think those top 10s are cool in the business analytics.
yeah, exactly. That's where I was going to go. So you come over to your business analytics, and up here you can click on what's called consumer interest. And the consumer interest is going to show you like marketplaces people want to see, top viewed properties, things like that, right? So for example, I could come in here and I could say, well, these are the 10 most viewed properties in this person's MLS. This specific listing has been viewed 88 times. So this would be an awesome property, obviously, to go after and create an audience around, whatever this home has that's unique, right? So that's one. You could also do saved properties, another really important one. If they're being saved, that's another hot property. So these are 2 hot properties you could choose. And then as you come down here, you have areas, you have price points, you have specific zip codes, and neighborhoods. So all of these are strategies really that you could go market for, that your consumers are telling you that they're looking for. Does that make sense? So that's where I would start if I had no idea what I wanted to do, for sure.
Awesome, thank you.
Mhm.
So we had a question, where are we in the funnel? So we've moved from the top where we found the specific audience. Now we were talking about configuring the follow-up for that audience. And that's just basically where you set up stuff. It's going to be the smart CRM in kvCORE. I may have, Shane, I'm realizing now the setting up the hashtag triggers might come after you know what the landing page and hashtag is going to be.
As long as you know your audience, you can actually create it. Like if we were using one of those listings, right? I could just go in and create that right now. So just to kind of tell you guys what he's talking about is underneath your marketing autopilot search alerts. If let's say we had like if we were to go back to one of those listings and had the parameters, I don't remember what they are specifically, but let's say it was the top listing was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Oceanside, right? I could come in here and I could create a hashtag, right? To an alert, and I could do this for all 3 bedrooms, 2-bath homes in Oceanside and a specific parameter. So any lead that came in automatically, like if I was doing Facebook leads automatically in here, it would automatically have this listing alert kicked up, because sometimes when the lead comes in from Facebook, we don't have their search parameters, like their detailed properties that they click on, because they haven't clicked on anything yet. So this is just an automatic way that you can have that be triggered based upon the target that you're kind of gathering. Okay, so this would be kicked off once you set this up for anyone that has that same hashtag. So the reason why you set that up before the landing page or squeeze page is because when you go to build the landing page or squeeze page, it's going to ask you what hashtag you want to use, and you want to use the same hashtag that you set up here in the alert.
Great.
So hopefully that helps there.
And is this course also set up for K+ or just kvCORE at this time?
kvCORE at this time, we are making a copy of this for K+, but
Awesome.
we have to just get all the videos
Change it up a
done.
little bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Different
Thank
dashboard. Strategy will be the same. Most of the content will be the same. It'll just be obviously a different dashboard.
Yeah.
So yeah, the other part that he was talking about in the step 2 here, configure the follow-up, that's done just to clarify marketing autopilot smart campaigns. So keep in mind, we kind of already have a lot of these mapped out. So a lot of the easiest ways to do it is just to take one that we already have, clone it, and then just modify it the way that you would want to tailor it to that niche. So for example, if you we don't have to dive in super deep, but you just would click here, clone it, and then add in any actions. So that's what you would do there for step 2.
Cool. Yep, so that's, make sure your follow-up's in place. Next we get to the fun stuff. One of the really powerful features of both K+ and kvCORE is that we have lots of ways to build lead capture traps and points, whatever you want to call them, ways to capture a lead. So the main ones probably, Shane, are going to be our squeeze links, our landing pages, and our text response codes. And I snuck in Facebook lead forms because those are getting pretty popular these days. That's a little more advanced. But Shane, do you want to show where everybody can find the lead capture stuff?
Absolutely. So lead engine on the left-hand side, and then from here, that's where you're going to find landing pages, squeeze pages, and then like if you are doing the Facebook lead forms, like Ryan had mentioned, you would just use your Zap from here. So we'll probably show you how to do that in one of his other webinars. And then the text codes is under call capture here. So these are the 3 or 4 different ways that he had mentioned there to generate the leads into the platform.
Great. Somebody's mentioning they're not able to access the funnel graphic. It could be that I didn't open that up, so I'll get that done here in a second, everybody. So after you've got your lead capture point built, and the possibilities, Shane, are kind of infinite. If you say you're targeting a specific school district, you might say homes in XYZ school district under 500K. That might be your landing page topic, or you might create a squeeze link for that. And that's specifically what we're talking about in that 3rd section.
Yeah, if you I'm sure you get it all the time. People want seller leads, right?
Yeah.
So one that I like to do and show, and I don't know if any of you guys have seen this one before, but it's where everyone always says San Diego home values are up 10%. Find out what yours is for free. You could use our seller address capture, right? And put in your address below, instantly find out. That'll always get you a bunch of garbage leads, right? So what I always like to do is come up with that niche that we've been talking about. So for example, school districts, I would say something like, I have 3 buyers looking to move to San Diego School District. If you are considering selling, check your value below, right? And then the target audience would be anyone that lives in San Diego School District. Does that make sense?
It does. And now that you've opened up that can of worms, you're going to have to make that page either now or later and put it in the doc.
I have an example, I think, from a while ago from exactly what Shane taught me on how to do this. So I can throw mine in and we can make a new one or what have you, but it's so cool. It's really great.
I can just run through it real quick.
Yeah, great.
Do you own a home? And I'll just use this where I live here. So there's a couple cool things you could do here. So make sure I didn't goof up on anything. All right. So number one, you can grab an image of the school district. So you just type in. Now, obviously, copyright laws, keep that all in mind. But ideally, you want to have something you use like this one or something that kind of stands out. That one here. This one will be good. And what you're going to do is copy the image address. Now, the reason why you're doing this is you want people that obviously have kids in the Vista Unified School District to grab their attention, right? So when I come back here and I change the background image, well, that one didn't really work that good because it's big, but ideally you get the idea. The image is in the background that's going to represent what they're trying to do. You can delogo it by double clicking here, just make sure that's compliant with your MLS. Then you double click and you can get rid of these boxes. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. And that's basically it. Do you own a home in the Vista School District? I have 3 buyers looking to move as soon as possible. If you consider selling, check your value below. You see how it's a much better ad, you know? So now all I have to do is I could hashtag it, right, if I wanted to, like, you know, Vista Schools, right? So I know that all the leads that come in here from this landing page for Vista School District, and then I'll go ahead and save it. Now, once I save it, obviously I'm gonna either share it out in like the Vista School District group, right? Or any school groups that are in Facebook for free, or I could go ahead and set up that target audience, drop a pin in the Vista School District, and then do like a radius around the school district. Does that make sense?
Yeah, with a Facebook ad.
Yeah. So you see here, the image isn't really that great because it doesn't fit in there, but this is what's going to show up on Facebook. So they're going to be able to see that. And then when they click on it, that's going to take them right into the landing page that we built. So that's kind of how I would do it for seller leads.
Great. Bonus. So
Yep.
once you've got your lead capture point built, next thing you're doing is you're going to pick. I have 1 or 2 here. It's a good idea not to get too thin in the testing phases. Pick one traffic source. Facebook's going to be the instant gratification. Google PPC works great. You have free social and group posting. Somebody was asking if that course is still in the learning portal. There is a course about social and group posting there. Direct mail and lots of other options that you have. There's so many different ways to get traffic to a lead capture point these days. So pick a traffic source and start working it. Once you've done that and you've got people going to your capture point, to your page, of course, naturally, you're going to do your thing and you're going to follow up with leads. So you're going to reply to the inbound responses. If you've set up an automated text, you've got automated emails coming out, you should get some people who respond to you automatically. But of course, Shane, I think you'd agree it's a good idea to just call all your leads or text them manually as well.
Yeah, so there's a cool feature. So when you're building out the campaign, you can actually have the system call you like within 5 minutes of a lead being generated, or 1 to 5 minutes, whenever you want. And it'll automatically connect you to the lead. So I do highly recommend putting that in your campaign. In addition to that, like what you mentioned, really just committing to the campaign that you set up, right? So if you did it right, you already structured the campaign follow-up, you already built your landing page, the lead's already in there. So now you just got to commit to the strategy that you put in place. Make sure you make your calls, right? Make sure you make your task. And really, to do that, you just log into your dashboard and it tells you your calls and tasks. So just come in here and execute these 2 boxes, and that'll keep you on track.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what's nice. The actual follow-up, if you built everything right, as Shane just said, it'll just tell you what to do every day. You just log in and do your stuff.
Yep, these 2 boxes, that's all you got to do if you set it up right. Boom, boom.
Great. So so follow up with your leads. If you do all of the above correctly, the assumption is that you're going to start to have some closed deals, and you're probably going to want to also build a past client campaign that helps you stay in touch. And as people go into, Shane, you know, we can set it up so that as people go into the past client status, is that what it's called? That we automatically trigger a smart campaign for that.
Yeah, so we actually, it's labeled as closed in the CRM. So closed is your past clients, just so everyone's on the same page. And that is this one that you're going to want to set your closed status for. Okay, and then that should be number 1. Just quarterly check-ins is what I recommend. As a task, I would do what's called a stop by, like once or twice a year, just to stop by, you know, just say hi, you know, check in with them, see how they're doing with their new home, see if there's any recommendations you could give for contractors, this or that, depending on what they may need. Yep. So that's kind of it for.
Yeah, direct mail, automatic, you know, Christmas cards, things like that.
Yeah, even the handwritten letter from ThanksIO, right?
There we go. Yep. And then finally at the bottom, you're just going to revisit and refine each stage above periodically. So, you know, this has to function as a system of systems within your business if it's going to work well. So I've kind of laid out here, I said, hey, every day you're going to want to check your traffic and lead capture points just to make sure that you're not wasting money. So in my personal day, I drive a lot of traffic. Usually the first thing I do in the morning, you know, checking email, is I go into the Facebook ads account, the Google ads account, just make sure I'm not wasting money. That should become a habit. Then weekly maybe, or at some, you know, preset interval, maybe you schedule this as an appointment with yourself, you add in some new traffic sources and you enhance existing follow-up campaigns. So if you get something working really well on Facebook, for example, you might say, hey, let's go try this on Google now as well. And then monthly, maybe once you've got something humming along and you want more business, you can just try to do another funnel or just put, you know, scale up the one that's working. And for most of us, Shane, I think just one funnel built following this process is probably enough to drive a pretty lucrative business. You don't really need more than one of these.
Yeah, no, if you're doing them right and got the right audience, you're going to get some good results for sure. Now, just to kind of side note, for anyone that's looking at this and goes, geez, this is just a lot of work, keep in mind we have Property Boost. It can handle all this for you pretty turnkey, and you don't have to think about much, just maybe tailoring the campaign the way that you want and then committing to the follow-up. But that'll kind of automate it for any listings in your office you have permission to market. You could do that with. So I do highly recommend that. We're getting some really good results. So if this is overwhelming to you, just keep in mind there's always a backup plan through what's called our paid ads.
Yeah, we have Property Boost, we have the Facebook buyer leads, which are working really well lately, and and we still have Google. So we can get you up through the part where you're following up with leads with the push of a button through the marketplace, and then, you know, the bottom 3 items, you can take it from there.
Yeah, so don't let this overwhelm you. If it's too much, you know, it's not for everyone, but it is the best strategy, and it's awesome that you have all the tools to do it.
Great, so we have some good questions. Go ahead, Annalise.
Well, I was going to say, there's a really good question. You know, like if you're just getting into this and you're just starting out with like following these types of rules on your daily, how do you know if you're wasting your money or if it's a good spend? How do you track that?
So, yeah, go ahead, Shane. I'll let you take that first, but I have a few thoughts.
Yeah, so the first thing I always recommend, because we got a lot of power users, and then obviously Ryan and Annalise are awesome, is in this Facebook group, you can always just post your results, right? Like, hey, I'm getting an average cost per lead of X, or my results are Y. And then, you know, everyone will give a lot of good feedback in our Facebook group there. And it's always good to kind of everyone learn together, right? So I like that strategy. I don't know if you had something different on that, Ryan.
Yeah, that definitely do that. That's not what I was going to say, but that makes a lot of sense. Just use the free resource you have. There are a lot of traffic and lead gen geeks in the Facebook group. The other thing, more specifically, would be you're probably going to be shooting for between $10 to $20 a lead at the top end range, and you're going to want to allow some volume of spend. So I would not give up after spending $20 on a Facebook ad, but maybe I'd give up after $100 if I've only gotten one lead for example. So it's going to vary by the source. The other thing I kind of want to say was, I see a lot of people who they might be in a market like yours, Shane, where the average house is what, like $700,000 or $800,000,
Yeah,
you know,
or more.
and or more. So it's called $1 million, and then they, you know, the average commission size is going to be like 25,000. But then I see people spend maybe $100 or $200 on a Facebook campaign, a lead generation campaign we talked about, and give up and think that it doesn't work. In those cases, you'd probably be happy to pay 20% for a referral. So you might be willing to pay $5,000 for a referral fee on that 25. So it may stand to reason that, hey, I will let this funnel run for $5,000 and see what happens, assuming that you're getting, you know, leads along the way.
Yeah, you should always be investing at least 10% back into your market anyways, right? So off 25, that's $2,500 minimum should go back in.
Yeah, so that, like you said, that's good. So take whatever commission you expect to net from this funnel, one commission, and let it run for 10% of that, maybe. All right. A couple of questions here was, what is Property Boost? We have some information about Property Boost, but it's basically a push button way to start doing a Facebook lead ad for your listing. So you get name, email, cell number of leads around listings. And not only does it generate buyer leads, it really can generate some seller leads, because a lot of homeowners will opt in for that.
And to add to that, like everything we just went over, like on the checklist and this funnel, is really included within. There's a lot of elements that's included within that you don't have to do manually, which makes it even a better spend for time.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Alex. So we've basically pre-built a lot of this funnel stuff with some of the offerings in the marketplace.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/conversion, KUNVERSION. Somebody's asking for contact info for direct questions. The Facebook group is a great place to go for strategy type stuff. And Shane, we're going to make you hop in there more because you're a wealth of knowledge. But yeah, you get access to Annalisa and I, some of the success coaches, and most importantly, a lot of the other power users will be in there to answer your questions. Rhonda's asking, I currently have listings to leads. Will squeeze and landing pages work the same? Yes, very similar concept. I will say that I really like a lot of what listings to leads does, and that it is possible through Zapier.com to integrate a third-party landing page solutions like listings to leads with kvCORE. So, Rhonda, if the question is, can I get rid of my listings to leads bill? The answer is probably yes, or you can just integrate it. Cool questions. Well, guys, we know we had some feedback. We know that we go fast on these webinars, and it's just the nature of it. You know, we're trying to condense a lot of content into 45 minutes. But the reason that we have something like the Agent Success Plan and why Shane and his team are there on the success coaching side is so that you can have self-paced learning like this. So treat this webinar as sort of the broad overview, right, Shane?
Yeah.
And then go drill down in the learning portal in the new Agent Success Plan.
And just remember, if you guys are in a section and you're like, oh, you guys didn't cover enough in the video, just remember the resource section has the in-depth button by button, line by line way to execute whatever we were showing you in the overview video.
Shane, do you want to show where to access the Agent Success Plan again? We're just getting a few questions.
Absolutely. So in your dashboard, typically when you log in, you'll be right here on this dashboard page. And in the very top, it's going to say Agent Success Plan. So you can just click right there, and this will take you right into the portal and actually logs you, right to it where you can resume the course. And once you click on this, it'll take you right back to where you left off inside the course.
And you were saying about feedback. These are living, breathing things. These courses. Just at any time, feel free to go into the support portal in your dashboard and say, "Hey guys, there was something, missing, or something I didn't understand, or something I wish that was in there," and we can always get it built, right, Shane?
Yeah. So yeah, definitely come over here. Always keep us up to date on that. And then just in the resource sections, we've taken these support portal articles, and that's what we've populated in there are the ones that you would need for that course. So we've already done all the research and found the article for you, so you don't have to come over here and hunt for it.
Cool.
Yep.
So let's see. I think we did pretty well here. Nice tidy 40 minutes. Shane, thanks for being on today.
Absolutely.
And everybody, we will be back next week. Annalisa, I'm going on vacation, so you're on your own. You'll have to grab Shane or somebody.
So we're going to Bora Bora. I'm sorry, what?
No,
Remote office somewhere? What?
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
next week we'll have some topics, something like this again. But in the meantime, definitely get working on that first week of Shane and team's agent success plan.
Yep, I look forward to having you guys on there, and we're keeping track of everyone logging in and your progress. So it's nice to be able to see you guys getting in there already. We've had about 450 people already.
There was a question from a brokerage asking, how do I get the information to know if my folks have attended these courses or how far along they are? Is that available yet, or is it going to be available in the future?
So that's a feature that we're building into the dashboard currently. I believe it will be on when the new UI comes out here.
Cool.
And yep, we'll be able to see that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, everybody have a great week, and we'll see you, Annalisa, we'll see you next Wednesday.
I will. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, Annalisa, we almost forgot.
Well,
3 p.m. there's the team webinar as well with Roberta.
Yes.
That was in the announcement.
It's going to be great. We're going to talk about how to leverage the kvCORE core team add-on and use the tools within getting into the advertising tools. So if you guys can make it, that's great. There is a link. Did you put the link on the doc? I don't recall.
Yeah, it was in the email that went out yesterday, but we'll make sure it's in the doc.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we'll make sure you get it. But yeah, join us if you can. Otherwise, everything is recorded and located at www.insiderealestate.com/replays.
Okay, see you, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.